So it's been a while since we've done quadratic regression, and I thought we should probably review it a little bit. If you need help, what we're doing right now is looking at the last 2 pages in your homework classwork packet that looks like this. And we're at 4.4b. We're going to go over question 5 to help us remember how to do this. So the question is saying that there's a concentration of medication in your blood. The concentration of the medication in the blood as time passes is given by the data in the following table. So time, it looks like in hours. This is how much is in your blood. And then had a half an hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours, etc. Here's how much of the concentration of the blood it is. It looks like it goes up and then goes back down. So we're being asked to find a quadratic model in standard form. Okay, so quadratic model in standard form, it's going to be that equation y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and to find that, we're going to need to put this in Desmos. So let's go ahead and do that. First thing we're going to need to do is make a table. Okay, so I delete out anything that I already have. I hit the plus button and I hit table. Okay, then I go over here and I look at my table. It looks like I've got x's and y's. I'm just going to minimize this a little bit so that I can see a little bit better here. It's a little hard to tell, but over here I've got my table, and the top is my x and my bottom is my y. So I'm going to put in a 0 for x and a 0 for y for 0, 0, and for x 0.5, half an hour, and 78.1. I continue putting these in together as pairs. 1, 99.8, 1.5, 4.4. There's a giant line down my screen, so I can't exactly tell what the next one is without zooming in or zooming out. So let's see what we've got here. Zoom out a little bit. That way I can see the next value. Looks like 2 and 50.1. And finally 2.5 and 15.6. As soon as I've entered the data, you can see a couple points, but you may not be able to see all of them easily. What you can do is hit this button with a zoom fit, and it'll show you the curve of your data right here. So that, again, that little button was a mark right there. Then I'm going to hit add regression, and it is going to automatically default to a linear regression for me. That is not the one I want because my shape is a parabola. So I change this to quadratic regression. This is the equation that I want. This is the standard form of the quadratic model. It is the equation that gives us this line, this predictive line based on our data. So you are going to write this entire thing in over here. Let's see if I can write it under quadratic model. So I have entered it. And for me, I entered it just by copy and pasting, but as you can see, you're probably going to have to type in the whole thing. A little more annoying in your case. But that is the equation. Whatever I found in Desmos, right here where it says equation, goes right there. Okay, then it's asking us what's the concentration of medicine in the blood after 4 hours have passed. So basically what it is saying is, what if you had another line on here and it was 4 hours? So hours is x, and concentration is our y value. So it's saying, imagine we had another x value, 4 hours. So what if I had a 4 here? What would the y value be? The easiest way to find this, there's several ways. You can type it in for x, but you can also find it on your graph, probably the simplest method. So I'm going in and I'm saying, okay, if x is 4, what's its y value? So the best thing to do is on the next line, I type in x equals 4. What if x is 4? Now I should be able to see a purple line. I don't see it, but that makes sense because it only goes out to 2. If you don't see your line, zoom out till you find it. Okay? Then you're going to find where if x is 4, what's the number that it gives you? When x is 4, I get negative 332. So that's the value, which makes sense because it was going down. So if it continues to go down, this is the value we get. Probably about, you want to round to one of the decimal places, or you can just write the whole thing down. That's fine too. So the 4 is the number that we put in. Our y value is the one we're trying to find. We put in x. We want to find y. And the y value that we get when x is that amount is negative 332. Okay, so that is how you do a regression and then use